Hello, everybody. This is Big Bear, Tony Sandoval. Had somebody asking me about freebies. I thought today we'll talk about freebies. People talk to me, especially new beekeepers, about getting freebies. They're usually talking about going out and collecting a swarm, doing a live bee removal like a trap out or a cutout. Uh, they look at those as freebies because they don't have to buy them from a supplier. They're not going to some company in California or somewhere even local and paying somebody cash directly. And so they look at getting those bees as free bees. Unfortunately, there's no such thing as free bees. It just doesn't exist. Even if you go out and you collect a swarm, which is probably the most close you'll ever get to free bees, you're still doing work. You're spending time. Your time is valuable. That's time you could be using to go to work. That's time you could be using to make money other ways, or spending that time with your family, or investing that time in working on something else. It is time that has value, so you may not be directly spending cash on those bees, but you are spending time and effort, and that is worth something. So, they're not free. Cutouts, trap outs, they require even more because they require that you have a certain amount of equipment and tools. It gets even more expensive because you have an investment not just of your time, but you have to have an investment of experience. You have to eventually, you do enough of them, you've gained experience, you've learned better ways to do something. You've learned tricks of the trade. You know which tools to use and what circumstances to use them. You've accumulated those tools. You spend gas getting from to the place and back, transporting. So again, there's no such thing as free bees. That doesn't exist. Just because you're not spending cash on them doesn't mean they're free. Just means that you are more willing to trade time than money. And that's okay. That's the essence of the basic barter system. So that's okay. I'm not condemning it. I'm just saying don't call it free. It's not free. You're trading something. You're giving something up to get those bees. Okay? Just not cash, not money. Uh, and I will go out and say I have a buddy of mine who, probably in the closest sense to free bees I've ever heard of, stuck a few nuke boxes, hive boxes, in the back of his pickup that sit in his driveway. And a year or two ago, maybe the last couple of years as a matter of fact, just having those boxes sit in the back of his truck, he'd walk out a couple times to find that a swarm moved into those boxes. He didn't lift a finger, didn't go anywhere, didn't make any effort besides just sticking some boxes in the back of his truck. Now that's about as close to free as you're ever going to see. He had the investment of the boxes and either the foresight or the laziness to stick them in his truck and leave them there. I won't complain either way, because if I could be that, either fortuitous or lazy or whatever, and get those bees to come to me, I'd do it too. But that's about as close as you're ever going to get to actually free bees because of a swarm, a trap out, or a cutout. Consider your time. Consider the gas you spend to get back and forth. Consider the cost of the equipment that you're using to collect them. Consider the experience you have already accumulated, or the time you're spending to accumulate experience. All of that goes into the value of those bees. So, no free bees. They just don't exist. Getting a swarm is not getting free bees. People who charge money because they do it professionally are not bad guys. They just realize that if they're going to spend their time chasing bees instead of making money some other way, they still have, their kids want to eat. They want to go to school. They want to have things in the house, clothes, things like that. They have to bring money in to buy those things. So if they're not going to go to work and spend that time making money somewhere else, then they need to make that money collecting those bees, doing those live removals. So they're not bad people. They're trying to make a living doing something they love to do. There's nothing wrong with that. So I wish the hobbyists that are out there would quit demonizing other beekeepers who do charge money just because they want to make themselves look like a better deal. It's really kind of frustrating and annoying to see these hobbyist beekeepers go out there, well, that guy's going to charge you money and I won't charge you any money. That doesn't mean you're going to do a better job. Matter of fact, the odds are people who charge money are going to do the better job of service because they do it professionally. They've done it over and over and over again. They're going to do it with the least expense. They're going to do it most efficiently, most effectively. They're going to give the customer what they want, which is no bees, and they're going to close the opening up so that the customer doesn't have bees coming back. Okay, hobbyists tend to just grab the bees and go, leaving the customer with still a hole in the wall or whatever else. Okay, again, I'm not going to decry it as good, bad, evil, great. It's just, it is what it is. But I do not like to see hobbyists go out and condemning and criticizing in public professional beekeepers who go out and make a living doing that thing or make a part of a living. It's just not a worthwhile endeavor. There's no point in pursuing that kind of behavior. We're all beekeepers together. We all find ways to make our living and play with bees the best ways we can. So we need to work together and stop demonizing each other for our own gain. That just it's not in any of our best interest. So freebies, no. It's nice to get them. Good genetics a lot of times. We want to preserve genetic, bees that have been unmanaged and surviving on their own for a number of years. So we always want to get those bees. It's a good idea, conservation-wise. But free? No, not free. I want to thank Greg for emailing and coming to my website and asking that question about the freebies. That was a good question. It comes up a lot. You see it talked about a lot on different forums and all that. And that's just my 2 cents on the whole issue. I think we can all do better with our bees, one way or another. There's always room for improvement. No point in pointing fingers, I guess. Enjoy your bees, folks. See you next time.